What Warren Buffett can teach you about life and money has surprisingly little to do with stock picking and almost nothing to do with complexity. When people look at Buffett, they often focus on the size of his fortune or the famous investments that worked spectacularly well. What they miss is that Buffett's real achievement is not financial brilliance, but behavioral consistency sustained over an entire lifetime. His lessons endure because they apply not only to markets, but to how humans make decisions under uncertainty, temptation, and time pressure. The first and most fundamental lesson Buffett teaches is the importance of protecting downside before chasing upside. His famous rule, "Never lose money," is not literal advice to avoid all losses, but a mindset that prioritizes survival over excitement. In life and in investing, irreversible mistakes are far more damaging than missed opportunities. Buffett structured his decisions so that being wrong would not destroy him. This principle applies broadly. Whether it is money, health, or relationships, avoiding catastrophic error compounds faster than pursuing dramatic success. Buffett's life shows that staying in the game matters more than winning quickly. Another powerful lesson is Buffett's relationship with time. He treats time not as pressure, but as leverage. Buffett understands that most advantages in life do not come from speed, but from patience, combined with consistency. His wealth is often misunderstood as the result of intelligence, when in fact it is largely the result of compounding applied over many decades without interruption. This teaches a broader life lesson. Small, sensible decisions repeated for a long time often outperform brilliant decisions applied briefly. Buffett's calm pace is not slowness. It is alignment with how reality actually rewards behavior. Buffett also teaches the value of simplicity and focus. He famously stays within his circle of competence, investing only in businesses he can understand deeply. This is not intellectual laziness, it is intellectual discipline. In life, people often overestimate the benefits of knowing a little about many things and underestimate the power of knowing a lot about a few things. Buffett's success shows that clarity beats cleverness. When you reduce complexity, you reduce self-deception, and fewer lies you tell yourself means fewer mistakes you have to recover from later. A closely related lesson is saying no. Buffett has said that the difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. This applies to money and life equally. Opportunities are endless, but attention and energy are finite. By refusing most opportunities, Buffett protects his ability to commit fully to the few that matter. This restraint is often mistaken for conservatism, but it is actually strategic selectivity. Life improves when choices are fewer, but more intentional. Buffett's approach to emotion is another quiet lesson. He does not suppress emotion. He designs his life and investments so that emotion has less power over decisions. He avoids leverage trades infrequently and ignores market noise. These are not market strategies alone. They are emotional safeguards. Buffett understands that humans are most dangerous to themselves when stressed, excited, or fearful. By reducing emotional intensity, he preserves judgment. This is a life lesson as much as a financial one. Design environments where your worst impulses are less likely to take control. There is also a deep lesson in humility. Buffett openly admits mistakes and changes his mind without drama. He does not cling to being right for ego reasons. This flexibility is rare and invaluable. In life, refusing to update beliefs is often more costly than being wrong initially. Buffett shows that learning is not a phase you outgrow. It is a discipline you maintain. His confidence does not come from certainty, but from knowing he can adapt without self-destruction. Perhaps the most overlooked lesson Buffett teaches is about enough. Despite extraordinary wealth, His lifestyle remains modest. This is not frugality as virtue signaling. It is clarity about what actually improves life. Buffett understood early that money solves certain problems, but creates others when pursued without limit. Knowing when additional money adds little value allows him to avoid unnecessary risk. This lesson extends beyond wealth. Contentment is not the absence of ambition. It is ambition guided by purpose rather than insecurity. Taken together, these lessons reveal that Buffett's philosophy is not about markets, but about alignment. Alignment between behavior and reality, between goals and temperament, between ambition and patience. His life demonstrates that success, financial or otherwise, is rarely about intensity. It is about endurance. And it is precisely here, when we stop seeing Buffett as an investing genius and start seeing him as a master of disciplined living, that the deeper meaning of his example begins to emerge, and the story has not yet fully reached its end, because the real power of Buffett's lessons only becomes visible when we examine how he applies them when they are hardest to follow, not when they are easy to admire. Many people agree with Buffett in theory. Very few live the implications of his philosophy in practice. Part 2 is about that gap, the space where wisdom turns into behavior, and where most people quietly fall away. One of Buffett's most underappreciated teachings is how he handles boredom. His life and investing career are intentionally repetitive. He reads for hours every day. He revisits the same ideas. He rarely makes dramatic moves. In a world addicted to novelty, this is radical. Buffett understands that boredom is not a signal to act. It is often a signal that nothing needs to be done. In markets and in life, boredom protects you from unnecessary mistakes. Most bad decisions are made not because action is required, but because stillness feels uncomfortable. Buffett's patience is not passive, it is defensive. Another deeper lesson is Buffett's relationship with reputation and social pressure. He has been mocked repeatedly for being out of touch, too conservative, or missing the next big thing. During tech mania's crypto booms and speculative frenzies, Buffett often looks wrong for years, yet he remains unmoved. This reveals a critical life lesson. If your decisions depend on approval, you will abandon good principles the moment they become unpopular. Buffett's independence is not arrogance. It is self-trust built on long-term evidence. He shows that being right eventually matters more than being admired immediately. Buffett also teaches a powerful lesson about ethical alignment. He repeatedly emphasizes working with people you trust and businesses you respect. This is not sentimentality, it is risk management. In life and money, ethical shortcuts often create hidden liabilities. Stress, regret, and reputational damage compound just like interest. Buffett's insistence on integrity is practical. When values and actions align, decision-making becomes simpler. You waste less energy justifying yourself, and more energy thinking clearly. Another subtle but profound lesson is how Buffett treats mistakes. He does not dramatize them, but he does not hide them either. He writes openly about errors in shareholder letters and explains what he learned. This behavior trains two things simultaneously: accountability and resilience. In life, most people either deny mistakes or are crushed by them. Buffett models a third option: acknowledge, adjust, and move on without self-punishment. This is a critical skill in any long-term pursuit, because progress requires error, but endurance requires emotional recovery. Buffett's approach to success itself is also instructive. He does not escalate risk just because he is winning. In fact, he often becomes more conservative after success. This is counterintuitive. Most people loosen discipline when things go well and tighten it when things go poorly. Buffett does the opposite. He understands that success increases the danger of overconfidence. This lesson applies broadly. The moment you feel invincible is often the moment you are most exposed. Stability requires tightening standards, not relaxing them when life is going well. There is also a lesson in how Buffett defines a good life. Despite immense wealth, he measures success by friendships, curiosity, and peace of mind. He often says that doing what you love with people you respect is the real definition of wealth. This is not a feel-good quote. It is a warning. Chasing money without regard for how it shapes your daily experience can leave you rich and dissatisfied. Buffett's life suggests that money is best used as a tool to protect freedom and alignment, not as a scoreboard for self-worth. Perhaps the deepest lesson Buffett teaches is about compounding beyond money. He understands that habits compound, reputation compounds, trust compounds, and health compounds. Just as small financial decisions repeated over time create enormous differences, small daily behaviors shape life outcomes. Buffett's consistency is not accidental. It reflects an understanding that time magnifies whatever you repeat. This is why he is careful not only with investments, but with how he thinks, who he listens to, and how he spends his attention. When all of these lessons are combined, Warren Buffett stops being an investing icon and becomes a model for disciplined living. His greatness is not that he beat the market, but that he built a life that could withstand success without being distorted by it. That is far harder than making money, and this is where his teachings truly land. Warren Buffett teaches that the goal is not to be brilliant occasionally, but to be sensible consistently. Not to chase extraordinary moments, but to avoid extraordinary mistakes. Not to impress others, but to remain aligned with reality and yourself over decades. When those principles are lived, money becomes a byproduct rather than a burden, and life becomes steadier, clearer, and more intentional, long after the headlines fade and the numbers stop growing, leaving behind something far more durable than wealth, wisdom applied patiently over time,